Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started.
Paul Heyman has broken his silence on the 3-month-long absence of the OTC, Roman Reigns. He gave an update during the opening segment of Monday Night Raw. As you know, the reason Paul Heyman now stands with Seth Rollins is because of the betrayals he committed at WrestleMania 41. The first betrayal was against CM Punk, and the second, more shocking one, was against Roman Reigns. This directly led to the ending of the main event of WrestleMania Night 1, where Seth Rollins emerged victorious. During his promo, Paul Heyman also said that Reigns doesn't have it in him to return and step up against Seth Rollins and his faction. He said, "The OTC is MIA, or missing in action." Of course, Reigns being MIA isn't new, but it has been the subject of complaints from some fans online. The logic behind this criticism was essentially that he was too important to the story to just disappear. However, this line that Heyman used could have been a direct way to tease his return, whether it's at SummerSlam 2025 or some point in the near future. Either way, the OTC could be back this summer. Rollins, meanwhile, looks like he's on an inevitable path back to the top of WWE. It was the final segment of Monday Night Raw, and the air inside the arena felt heavier than usual. For weeks, fans had been speculating, questioning, and, in some corners, grieving over the silence surrounding Roman Reigns' absence. The Tribal Chief, once the indomitable presence that towered over WWE, hadn't been seen since his brutal clash at SummerSlam. The whispers of injury, family conflict, and secret negotiations with Hollywood studios had turned into roaring rumors that flooded every corner of the internet. Yet through all the speculation, Paul Heyman, the wise man, the advocate, the special counsel, had remained eerily silent. Until now. The lights dimmed as the crowd buzzed, chants of "We want Roman," echoing like a prayer in an arena that felt more like a cathedral tonight. The Titantron flickered to life, displaying a single word, "Bloodline." Then, the haunting notes of Heyman's theme hit, a simple instrumental that somehow conveyed 1,000 pages worth of scheming, of manipulation, of strategy. Heyman walked slowly to the ring, clutching his trademark microphone like a holy relic. There was no smug grin tonight. No wry smirk curling under his sharp eyes. He looked, for once, like the weight of the world rested squarely on his suited shoulders. He stepped into the ring, adjusted his tie, and waited as the crowd's chants shifted to a rolling wave of conflicting emotions, cheers, boos, and chants for Roman Reigns all at once. He raised a hand, a gesture not of command tonight but almost of supplication. The crowd quieted. Paul Heyman began. "Ladies and gentlemen." His voice cracked just slightly, enough for every camera to catch. He paused, collecting himself. "My name is Paul Heyman. And I stand before you tonight not just as the wise man of the bloodline. I stand before you tonight as the man entrusted with a message that weighs heavier on my soul than anything I have ever had to say." He looked down for a moment, visibly gathering his thoughts, letting the silence speak. "For months, you, the WWE Universe, have wondered. You've speculated. You've demanded answers that I, out of respect for my tribal chief, chose not to give. Out of loyalty to Roman Reigns, the greatest undisputed Universal Champion this business has ever seen, I held my tongue while the world spun its tales. I stood silent while you asked, 'Where is Roman Reigns?'" Heyman's voice dropped into a conspiratorial hush, forcing every ear to lean in. "Tonight, I break my silence." A hush swept the arena like a cold wind. Roman Reigns is not here tonight because, for the first time in nearly a decade, he has been forced to confront what none of us can escape, being mortal. Heyman's eyes darted to the floor, as if fearing to even utter the next part. At SummerSlam, Roman Reigns was not just defeated in battle. He was betrayed, by family, by those who should have shed blood beside him instead of spilling his. A thunderous chorus of "Solo! Solo! Solo!" chants burst out. The name of Solo Sikoa, the enforcer whom many believe turned on Roman, reverberated through the stands like a gavel striking the table. Heyman raised his hand again. "Yes, you chant his name now. But when you turn on your tribal chief, you invite a storm you are not prepared for." He took a breath, his expression darkening. "Roman Reigns is recovering. Physically? He will heal. He is a warrior. He is, after all, the head of the table. But the wounds of betrayal cut deeper than any steel chair or Samoan spike. He has stepped away, not because he is weak, but because he must reforge himself into something this world has never seen before." A fresh wave of murmurs rolled through the crowd. Heyman straightened his tie again, this time with a flicker of that trademark cunning glinting in his eyes. And here's your update, ladies and gentlemen. Roman Reigns is not gone. Roman Reigns is not retiring. Roman Reigns is not riding off into the Hollywood sunset. He is watching. He is waiting. And when the time is right, when those who have defiled the bloodline have grown arrogant enough to think they are safe, the tribal chief will return. And he will not return alone. Heyman's voice shifted, gathering venom. I have been tasked, by order of the tribal chief himself, to cleanse this empire of false prophets. To identify those who are truly loyal. And those who are simply waiting to strike from the shadows. He pointed a finger at the hard camera, as if aiming directly at Solo Sikoa, Jimmy Uso, whoever dared declare themselves king in Reigns' absence. Raw will feel his presence whether he is here or not. SmackDown will tremble knowing that every action they take is being weighed, recorded, and judged. And when Roman Reigns returns, it will not be for championship gold alone, it will be for blood. The crowd was electric now, caught somewhere between fear and anticipation. The WWE Universe fed on conflict, and Heyman knew it. Heyman looked around the arena, lowering the microphone to let the crowd roar wash over him. Then he leaned back in for a final blow. So to those who dare ask, when will Roman Reigns return? My answer is this: Roman Reigns will return when he chooses. When his enemies least expect it. When you, the WWE Universe, are starving for a savior or cowering from the monster he must become to reclaim his throne. He dropped his tone to an intimate growl. And when that day comes, you will remember who warned you. I am Paul Heyman. I am the wise man. And I serve at the pleasure of the tribal chief, your tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Heyman's music hit as he dropped the microphone, the echo of his words hanging like storm clouds over the arena. He didn't smile. He didn't gloat. He simply stepped through the ropes and walked up the ramp, one slow step at a time, as if each footfall carried with it the weight of the empire he was sworn to protect. Backstage, cameras caught a glimpse of Heyman disappearing into the shadows, alone, but somehow never more dangerous. In that moment, the WWE Universe knew one thing for certain: Roman Reigns' absence was not a retreat. It was a warning. And somewhere, out there, the tribal chief was watching, ready to reclaim his bloodline. By any means necessary.